There have been inventors throughout history whose names you've never heard. Their discoveries never made the headlines. The breakthroughs never reached the public. Not because they failed, no, far from it, because what they created was never meant to be known. Imagine, if you will, a mind gifted or cursed with the discovery of the impossible. True invisibility, a private citizen working alone, defying every expectation, no government funding, no corporate backing, just intelligence, perseverance, and an idea too powerful for the world to ignore. Now, what does this inventor do? The choices seem endless. Sell the secret and name their price, share it with the world and become a legend, or keep it for themselves, slipping between the cracks of society, unseen and untouchable. But such choices are an illusion. The moment the secret leaves their hands, the wheels of a much larger machine begin to turn. An offer will come, one that can't be refused. A check with so many zeros, it warps reality. Or a warning, sharp and final, that this technology is not theirs to sell. Some inventions are marketed to the masses, others are bought to be buried, and some are never buried at all, just hidden, waiting for their true purpose. Here is one such story. Some inventions change the world in ways we can see. Electricity, the printing press, the internet. Others shape history in silence, their existence known only to a select few. Inventions deemed too powerful for the public eye, too dangerous to be left uncontrolled. Not because they would harm society, but because they would change who holds the power. Invisibility, perfect encryption, unlimited energy, direct mind-to-machine interfaces. The kind of breakthroughs that could either free a civilization or enslave it, depending on who gets their hands on them first. Technology like this doesn't follow the usual path of progress. It isn't brought to market, sold in neat little boxes, or turned into the latest consumer trend. It doesn't appear in glossy magazine spreads, hyped as the next great step in human evolution. It vanishes, bought in secret, buried in bureaucracy, locked away in military labs under national security directives, or worse, released with a leash. Marketed as a revolution, but designed for control. Given to the masses, but owned by the few. This is how power works. The hands that shape the future do not invent, they acquire. They do not innovate, they restrict. And there is always a man willing to sell them what they need. A man with money, but no homeland. A man who thrives in the corridors of wealth, who builds empires not with steel and stone, but with code and currency. A man who was once an outsider, but now stands too close to the throne. At his side, a leader who craves admiration, but fears intelligence. A man whose power was not earned, but given to him by a system designed to elevate the loudest, not the wisest. A man who does not understand the technology placed before him, but knows its worth in control. One whispers promises of dominance, the other, too eager for the illusion of strength, listens. Together they hold the blueprint for something that will not be announced at press conferences, something that will not arrive in neat packaging or corporate rollouts, something far more valuable than invisibility. A technology that does not just hide people from the world, but it hides the world from people. The world was unraveling, division ran deep, economies crumbled, trust in institutions dissolved into dust. The future, once a thing of infinite possibility, had become a slow march towards ruin. Then came Worldnet. It was heralded as the greatest achievement of the modern age, a direct link between mind and machine, thought and action, knowledge and instinct. No more typing, no more speaking, no more searching. Information streamed seamlessly, knowledge flowed like air. The barriers between people, education, wealth, even physical limitations began to disappear. The blind could see, the paralyzed could move, the lost could find their way home. Crime plummeted, productivity soared. A new age of efficiency, connection, and prosperity was upon humanity. World leaders hailed it as the great unifier, the final step in human evolution. No more distractions, no more misunderstandings, no more doubt. The world had never been more connected. And yet, not everyone noticed the glitches. Not at first. They were small things, barely worth a second thought. A husband who woke with dirt under his fingernails, a wife who left for groceries and came back with nothing but a vacant smile. Children sat too still, their eyes just a little too wide, staring at something that wasn't there. At first, it was easy to explain. He must have tripped. She must have forgotten the list. The kids must have been tired. No one dwelled on it. No one ever dwelled on anything for too long. But the patterns were there. The wives who walked out in the evening, purses slung over their shoulders, saying they'd be back soon. Sometimes they returned in a few hours. Sometimes not for days. When they did, their makeup was smudged, their hair disheveled, their clothes slightly off, like they belonged to someone else. They always had a reason: traffic, an old friend, a last-minute errand. The explanations were thin, but their husbands only nodded, as if something unseen had already given them the permission to let it go. The husbands had their own rituals. They'd wake in the middle of the night and step outside, moving with the slow, deliberate pace of sleepwalkers. Some were gone for hours, others for only minutes, but they always returned with the same marks: bruises in strange places, fingernail scratches, dirt caked into their palms. They'd mumble something about falling, about an accident, about nothing at all. And the wives, they never pressed. Somewhere out in the night, something was happening. Somewhere, people were going missing. The undesirables, the forgotten, the ones who weren't needed anymore. The people who lived in the shadows, beneath overpasses, tucked between alleyways, sleeping under newspapers and discarded blankets. One day they were there, the next they weren't. No one asked why. No one even noticed. And if they did, the thought never lasted long. Worldnet had made everything better, after all. Then one day, a man's Worldnet implant malfunctioned. A slight flicker in his vision. A single moment where the world glitched, where reality snapped out of place. And then he saw the towering cityscapes all gone, the thriving streets, the bustling world. It had never been there at all. Instead, he stood in a wasteland. Skyscrapers were husks of burned-out steel. Roads were cracked and broken. The pavement shattered like brittle bone. The air was thick with decay. Every sign, every billboard, every screen, all blank, save for a single thing. A barcode. Nothing had names, no brands, no slogans, only barcodes, black and white, stamped onto everything. He tried to speak, but the words tangled in his throat. He turned, reaching out, desperate to make somebody, anyone, see what he saw. Then he noticed the school children. A group of them stood nearby, eyes flickering, faces blank. One by one, their heads turned towards him, their pupils shrinking to pinpoint dots. And then they moved. Not like children, not like people, like programs executing a command. He ran, they followed. The last thing he saw before his Worldnet rebooted was the barcode on his own arm. Later that afternoon, a news report made the rounds. A man had been struck by an unknown vehicle. Authorities stated that no one had come forward to claim the body. No family, no friends, no record of him anywhere. They assured the public that this was nothing unusual, just another glitch in the system. Nothing to worry about. Everything was better now.